Jake Paul creates another viral moment. The biggest mystery about Jake Paul heading into his fight with Ben Askren on Saturday night was whether he could defeat a combat sports fighter. In a card filled with more musical performances than matches, thanks to Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg, and Ice Cube, Paul ended the unusual fight card in devastating fashion by knocking out Askren at the 1:59 mark of the first round, live from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. This is the craziest moment of my life, Paul said in his post-fight interview. I told y'all I was gonna do it in the first round. I told y'all I'm a real fighter. I don't know how many times I gotta prove myself that this is for real. After being let out by a robot to the ring, Paul got straight down to business. The 24-year-old pumped the jab and worked the body to let Askren know that he wouldn't go right for the jugular. Askren landed a right hand to remind Paul that he wasn't going to just lay down for him. Paul started getting into a rhythm when he connected on a crisp left followed by a right hand. The social media star snapped a jab and then blistered Askren with a right hand that sent the retired MMA fighter face first to the canvas. Askren took the mandatory 8 count and made it back to his feet. Paul rushed in, but the referee sent him back to the corner. That gave Askren a few more seconds to gather himself so he could continue. However, the referee waved the fight off to Askren's chagrin, and Paul jumped up on the turnbuckle with an explosion of fireworks. Askren left the ring immediately, upset with the early stoppage. Paul is now 3-0 with 3 knockouts. But did Paul quiet the critics to be taken seriously? Paul's going to need to face a legitimate fighter, and not someone who isn't a competent striker. You can see he has some skills, and the dedication is there. But the jury will be out on Paul until he does that. Jake Paul still hasn't fought a professional boxer in his short boxing career, but he now owns a knockout victory over a professional fighter. Paul scored a first-round TKO over former UFC fighter Ben Askren in their main event clash from inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Paul, a YouTube star, came out fast against Askren, working off a jab that he used to Askren's head and body. Askren, an accomplished wrestler who was never known as a striker in his successful mixed martial arts career, looked stiff and slightly robotic as he tried to figure out a way inside on the younger, stronger and faster Paul. With Paul showing solid technique, it felt clear Askren would have to turn things into a dirtier fight than a straight boxing match. Unfortunately for Askren, a crushing overhand right from Paul sent him spilling to the floor. Despite beating the count, the referee deemed Askren unable to continue and called the fight off at the 1:59 mark of round 1. Askren protested the stoppage, but the replay did show that, as the referee told Askren to walk forward, the former mixed martial artist moved sideways at the same time. Askren was shown walking backstage smiling after the bout, apparently in good spirits, after making $500,000 in disclosed pay for the bout. It's been 4 months, I've been in training camp every day, Paul said after his win. I deserve this shit. I don't know how many times I have to prove myself that this is for real. Paul still needs to prove that he can compete against trained boxers, but has done everything that could reasonably asked in his trio of circus fights to start his boxing career. Paul turned professional with a first-round TKO of fellow YouTuber Anas Sanjib before brutally stopping former NBA star Nate Robinson in a viral knockout in his next fight. Now, having beat Askren, it remains to be seen if Paul will look to continue trying to establish himself as a legitimate boxer, or continue on a path that has been undeniably successful from a financial standpoint. Askren, to his credit, kept a level head after the fight when talking with reporters. I wasn't nervous at all, because at the end of the day, My life doesn't change one way or the other, Askren said. In MMA, I was always pursuing or defending a world title, and today, I was doing a fun boxing match. If it turned out great, then great. If it turned out shit, then my life is the same. So there were really no nerves whatsoever. Elsewhere on the card, Regis Prograis scored a decision win over Ivan Redkic in fairly unique fashion. While up on the scorecards, Prograis went to throw a right hook to the body that seemed to glance off the side. However, Redkic immediately went to the mat writhing in pain. Redkic claimed it was a low blow that caught him in the groin, but replay showed from multiple angles that it did not. Redkic was eventually stretchered out of the ring, and the fight went straight to the scorecards, where it was a clean sweep for Prograis.